G'day, Greg Miller from The Joy of Wood. We love whittling. Such a positive, creative thing to do. But you know, it's particularly great for kids. So many kids really struggle with anxiety these days. And we find that put a knife in their hand and a piece of wood and it can just be engrossed for hours. Something they can feel some sense of control over, distract the brain from other worries. And it's always good for the soul being creative, and whittling just provides so many fantastic opportunities. This is a little blank, a snake. It's going to end up something like this little fellow here. What's fantastic about these is a great starting point for kids is when you go to your pencil here, I'll just show, it really helps you to work out about grain direction. So in this area here, we've got to cut that way. On that side of the hill, we've got to cut that way. Otherwise, the blade's digging in underneath the fibres. So here, we've got to go this way, and here we've got to go this way, all that kind of thing. Sure. So I'm going to come down this direction into here. And then I'm going to come back down that way in there. On the other side of the hill, we've got to go that way. We've got to come that way. It also lends itself to really good, safe technique. In our introduction to whittling video, one of the things that we do is we start out with a whittling stick. We use that to do a point on one end and then a ball on the other, and then we move on to carving a butter knife out of one of these. That's great, but what's really nice with the kids sometimes is to kind of get a sense of where they're going, and this little snake lends itself beautifully because you can kind of see where you're going. So this is great. The other thing that's really important with kids is a knife that works well for them. You don't want one of those knives with a big round blunt end, which are often bought by parents who think it's going to be safer, because it just doesn't lend itself. For good whittling, what you want is a nice long point to get the detail. The further you go out towards the point, the tighter the radius curve you can do. And because you've got all these bends and things, it doesn't lend itself to that wild slashing technique like this that you see on too many YouTube videos. We like to teach safe technique, which involves a lot of work with a thumb push. So you've got power, you've got control, and you're taking off the shavings where you want it to come from. It also lends itself to learning to do the thumb pull cut as well in here, which is again all using the thumb of the hand, it's not holding the knife. So having a good knife makes a huge difference. We've discovered kids love these. This is the little Ferber 13. It is a fantastic knife. The blade is just like the Beavercraft knife, the C13, but you notice the difference in the handle, a huge difference. This is so much smaller. It's very similar to the old shape of the Mora 120, which they don't make anymore. They've messed up the shape. We love these, a nice long point, but the handle is what makes all the difference for kids. Here we run workshops with kids from age 8 upwards, and we like to teach good, safe technique. At home you can start younger than that, of course, depends on your child, but it's always great to have parents and kids doing this together because that creates quality time and opportunities together, and parents get a lot out of it too. So the power of the shared experience is really important. So with a knife that works well in the hand of a child, something they can see, a snake that they can bring alive out of the little blank, which is shaped like that. Then we can do the rounding process. We can also do the other aspects of this. Obviously the tail is going to diminish downwards this way. And here is its head raised, like they'll often be while it's moving along. Do we give it a mouth and eyes? Do we shape the top of the head? This all helps kids to explore the anatomy of a snake. And if they want to, they can also do any detail in it or just do a more stylized snake, and then there's always the fun of adding colour. So the snake whittling is a fantastic thing to do. So in the rounding process, I can work my way around here using that nice little thumb push in here. So I could just leave that little rooster tail at the bottom down there, then come back the other way and take that out. We want this to come down here, so I can also use the power cut to take lots of that off. You notice there's no slashing blade. The blade is held nice and still, and we pull the wood past it. You put the blade on a bit of an angle like that, so locking the hand into the ribs works beautifully as we shape that down to go towards the tail. That's often something we do right near the beginning. It's one of those power cuts. It's all in this elbow moving back with the blade braced on an angle, so you get that nice spiral shaving coming off of the slicing cut. Come back here a bit further. So we can do our rounding. In we go. This is, most of these blanks we've got for the kids are in basswood or English lime, which is really easy to carve. It's a good place while developing the knife skills and not getting frustrated about wood being hard or anything like that. But of course, as they go on, they might move into doing better, you know, like harder woods. Denser woods you can get a really nice shiny finish on. It's a bit harder when you've got soft woods because they don't have that kind of density. So the snake, what a fantastic place for kids to start to learn. And the little knives like this. There's another great little further knife, this one, the R15. It's very similar to the beaver craft, but again, the handle is that little bit smaller. That's a little detail knife. They're both really good, but this one being that bit smaller, great for kids. Get your kid off the screen, get them whittling, get them exploring, researching into nature around them, looking at snakes, different ways that they hold their body, the different shapes for the heads, and even getting into the colours and all that sort of stuff. These are a great little knife. If you are, sometimes parents are anxious about kids having a longer knife. This one here is fantastic. Of course, it also has limitations because of its shortness. That's where we love this one here. Kids and whittling, such a positive combination. Great for helping deal with anxiety and stress. Great for being creative. You can make stuff on a crafting table in Minecraft, but it's just digital stuff, isn't it? This is real. This is tactile. This is stuff you can do things with. Give a kid a knife, a snake, and a few other things. Look at this, a duck from the duck blank. How about the wombat from the wombat blank? We got lots of these things, and I've been working on this for a while. This is my bookmark with a mouse on the end. So I've got these endless possibilities with this little bookmark blank. So much great stuff for kids to do. Get them these holidays with a beautiful whittling knife, creating and engaging with a piece of wood, letting anxiety fall away, and encourage them to keep creating. In fact, do it with them, it's even better.